I'd like again to talk about the gaming world and the gender-related issues within that world. Now, I will briefly talk about the Gamergate issue as well as Anita Sarkeesian. I have to say, I'm not terribly interested in either Zoe Quinn and her little debacle, nor am I particularly interested in Anita Sarkeesian. It's a pity she was able to raise that much money, but, you know, that's it. I want to focus on A, what's really going on in the gaming world, the underlying causes. As you know, those of you who know me by now, I like looking at the underlying causes, cause and effect. What is the ultimate structure behind it all? And also, I want to look at solutions. Now, as I said, these details with the feminists, this and that, and Thunderfoot's Twitter account was banned. Yet let them fight that war. That doesn't interest me. I don't want to really partake in that. Okay. But it seems to me that the core issues that are currently disturbing to people, the issues that are upsetting to people, the issues that are causing all of this ruckus and this stir are quite simple. Once again, people are not paying attention, have not paid attention to the differences between men and women. The fact that men and women are radically different from each other in many respects. This is the same mistake that was made decades earlier within the context of, say, second wave feminism, and of course continuously made in third wave feminism with regards to choices of work and social standing and interaction. I mean, people just don't want to they're either ignorant, stupid, or both. They don't want to acknowledge that men and women are fundamentally different in many key regards, in many core respects. But what do we see? We see a resurfacing of these issues within the gaming world. Believe it or not, this is what it's ultimately about. This is about a lack of insight, no oversight, and just plain human ignorance. Just as in the social circles of the past, in the work world of the past, people ignored fundamental differences between men and women with a sort of focused target on gender neutrality or gender equality, so too are they doing the same in the gaming world, and it's been going on for quite some time. Now, you'll often hear stated that the female gaming demographic is growing, and indeed it has. They talk about female gamers. Well, what is a gamer? This is, first off, you have to define what a gamer is. You always have to start with definitions, and I'm not going to present you with a definition here because it's a pretty convoluted question. And what's a writer? As they say, as the line went in Vampire Masquerade Bloodlines, so you're a writer. Well, anyone can write an email and you're a writer, right? So there you go. A gamer. Now, there are different kinds of gamers. There are gamers who play an hour a week of some online tablet game, and then people who spend 8 hours a day gaming nonstop. And it runs that range from that to the opposite end. And I'm somewhere in between, depending on the day. But in a general sense, we need to define what a gamer is. Now, when people say, for example, that the female demographic in gaming is growing tremendously, it's almost a parity with men, blah, 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 blah. What games are they talking about? That's another good question. Are they talking about hardcore games, hardcore shooters, hardcore RPGs, hardcore action games? Are they talking about things like Sims or these sort of online tablet games that you can mess around with on your iPhone? What kinds of games are they talking about? Notice how never is it mentioned what those games are. When you look at the statistics, they'll say, well, women are catching up, but women comprise almost 50% of the game consumer market and blah, blah, blah. Okay, but that doesn't mean anything. If it's, let's say there is a parity, I'm just making this up now, but let's say it's 50% of women comprise the gaming market, blah, 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 and it turns out that 45% of them or 40% of them comprise the tablet gaming market or the Sims gaming market, with only 10% occupying hardcore RPGs, action games, and shooters. Now, that's still not problematic to the typical female or feminist mind. They would say, well, there you go. There's a disparity. This is gender inequality, blah, 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 blah. I say it's just human nature, respectively male and female nature, and differentiated interests. Men like action games, role playing games, because it involves heavy thought and thought out processes and stacking items and build character builds and convoluted stories and things like that. And they like action games because men like action and activity and shooters because they're competitive and you can bash other people and whatever. And women being of a different social sort, they like The Sims. They like building their little social organizations and their social formations and sort of these nonsensical tablet things. I mean, how many women? And I actually don't play Minecraft, but how many women legitimately play Minecraft as a serious enterprise? I'd argue not many. I haven't seen or heard of that many that are prominent. So when talking about the gaming world, we're talking a lot about ill-defined definitions, not even defining what the terms mean. And I'm not going to start right now defining what a gamer is opposed to a non-gamer because the definition is just too broad and there's just too much plasticity to it. But if we are ever to overcome, and this in air quotes, the the gender inequality in games, we're going to have to become aware of the fundamental differences between the genders. We're not going to be able to get by saying men and women are the same, except men have dicks and women have pussies. That's not going to work anymore. That only our sexual organs are different and some secondary sexual characteristics. But this is not rigorous thinking, and of course, given the urges and tendencies of the masses, who are we to expect rigorous thinking from the masses? But there you have it. So let the other people sort out the Sarkeesians and the Quinns, the Zoe Quinns, and all that nonsense. Let's talk about why men are attracted to certain kinds of games and women are to their respective games. This has all to do with their social roles, which are reflective of ultimately of their reproductive roles. Women have a sort of hierarchy, but it's not the same as a dominance hierarchy. For example, a shooter allows men to compete with each other and feel a sense of superiority or inferiority. And even myself, I'm not particularly competitive, but the only shooter I play, Ghost Recon's Phantoms, I don't want to finish last, obviously. And what's interesting about a game like that, which is the only shooter I play a lot of, is that there are some females I know and I play with, and they just play the game. They're not asking for special treatment. They're not asking for custom female avatars. They know people talk trash in the game. They know people are going to bullshit and call them names. They call everyone else names too. And some of them are pretty good. Some of them are very good. Some of them are okay. And they just do what they do and do what every other guy does, a male who's playing the game does. This should be elementary. One of the problems, and I think Girl Writes What talked about this a long time ago, with the mentality that has seized hold of our society is that, men, generally speaking, they don't care if women are involved. I think what men care about is if the environment and their mode and means of existing and coping and molding that environment has changed. I mean, when the workplace, for example, changes to accommodate women's needs more than men's, that's problematic. But as long as women are willing to work within a hierarchy, say such of the sort that men work within, then there's usually no problem. And I see the analogy here in the shooter I play. I mean, nobody's asking for special treatment. These women are not asking for special treatment. They play the game. They try to play well, and that's it. And sometimes they have to deal with trash talking, but so do I, and so does everyone else. Big deal. But this is where the special treatment syndrome, the princess syndrome, the female special treatment syndrome comes into play, be it work, social circles, whatever. But in the gaming world, no, we need special treatment. You can't trash talk in games. Even if men do it to each other, you can't do it to women because women are different. Women are special, blah, 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 blah. And we've heard this before. Recent complaints about the new Assassin's Creed game, the new Ubisoft game. It's going to have a 4-player mode. Apparently, none of those player characters is a female. And just so happens that the majority demographic for Ubisoft games is male. Yeah, I have no qualms or issues playing a female character that's well done and is integrated into a story. In fact, I play female characters all the time. I played FemShep multiple times as a Let's Play on my gaming channel of FemShep. I've played lots of female Skyrim characters and so on and so forth. Um, it's just a role playing experience to me. I don't really differentiate it that much from the male experience. The experience of playing a male, maybe in some cases because I'm heterosexual, it's more appealing aesthetically to look at the female, but whatever. This is just not a big deal to me. And I think there's actually a way to breach the darkness, if you wish to call it that. It sounds odd, this term, breaching the darkness, but we're really in a state of darkness, a state of benightedness, nescience. I mean, these people out there, they're either morons or ignorant or both. They're just not looking as they did at the giant social construction we call society, at the core cause and effect issues. Why do men do the things they do? Why do women do the things they do? They're just looking at some numbers that the accuracy of which could be dubious, but as well as what women say and what they feel. This is not a good way of researching a topic or understanding things. But you're going to see the companies that have mostly a male player base, they're the ones that are going to get assaulted the most. And you get companies like BioWare, which are super, super PC and just cater to every politically correct wish they want whilst blocking out more, not mainstream, but non-politically correct views. I mean, I've had so many threads deleted on that forum, I can't even count anymore. And you get things that are kind of in between. Now, I'm going to offer a radical idea. This is a gaming-inspired idea, but if you look at the kinds of games that never inspire this kind of strife, this kind of conflict, I'm going to argue that these are the kinds of games that are modded, heavily modded. Look at Skyrim. Look at Bethesda in general. Bethesda tends to be pretty egalitarian. What I like about Bethesda is they have important characters doing all kinds of things, male and female, and but there's not an emphasis that that's a man, that's a woman, and they're just people in the world, men, women. They're doing their own thing, whatever. Now, in some cases they're important, some cases they're not. Some of the males are important, some of the females are important, and vice versa, not important. It's all good. More importantly, a game such as Skyrim allows you to mod. Modding is a tremendously powerful tool, not just in the sense of it allowing a game far more half-life time. And people are still playing Skyrim now, and they're going to be playing it for another 2-3 years because new mods keep on coming out, as well as the major mods that have already been made. This will continue. But what the power here is that you can, if you're a modder or want to make a mod, you can do that. You just need to teach yourself. And there are mods out there for everyone. I mean, there's a mod out there, I'm not interested in this, called Schlongs of Skyrim, basically for a mostly gay player base, as well as I imagine some female players, where you can run around as a kind of bearish, muscular guy with a big cock dangling from between your legs. It doesn't interest me in the slightest, but I'm just saying it's out there and it's quite popular amongst that subsector of the community. And whatever, you go with it. Nobody's complaining. No one's forced to download or use the mod. Likewise, there are probably hundreds of tits and ass mods out there for people. I'm not into that. I like the realism. I don't think running around in chainmail bikini is particularly realistic when it's negative 20 Celsius, but whatever. It's all out there, and because of these options to mod different things, because of the modularity of it all, you're going to have a lot less room for complaining. Why? Because people can do what they want. Very few people complain about either Schlongs of Skyrim or the tits and ass mods. It is true that I've gone on record. There's a guy named Mox Review. I call him the tits and ass Skyrim guy. He's the most popular Skyrim channel. What I have against him is not the tits and ass stuff. I could give a shit about that. I mean, if I want to get my rocks off, I'll watch porn. It's just that he's really uninventive, and he just used the sex sells model to make a big channel that really lacks talent, and it's just very not unique. But neither here nor there. It's his right to do that. And all these mods exist, and people can use them or not. I think games that allow modding, whatever the sort might be, allow the player base to decide what they want and what they don't want. And in this way, you can actually create peace, offerings of peace, because Every person can do what he or she wants and play the way he or she wants. If you want to walk around with a fucking 2 foot dick dangling between your legs while it's riding a horse and, fuck the king up the ass, you can do that in Skyrim. I'm not particularly interested in that myself, but, just as an example. Likewise, if, you want to run around with an entourage of chainmail bikini women with G or H cups, you can do that too. Not interested in that either, but there you go. You have all these; those are really extreme examples. Then you have all the other stuff that really has nothing to do with it. Flora of Skyrim, climates of Tamriel, all these things that just change the game. It's the modularity that allows you to create basically anything you want, and that creates a much more neutral atmosphere because people can and will do what they want, create the works that they want. Rather than having a fixed game. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, I don't really care what Ubisoft does, even though I play an Ubisoft game pretty frequently, and that is Ghost Recon's Phantoms. Let's say Ubisoft were to say, we're going to release modding materials to the game, and if you want, you can create female characters. I mean, yeah, there'll still be complaints from the mainstream people. Oh, it should have been part of the original game. Okay, but I think that would definitely assuage a lot of the people who are just ranting on about this stuff. But let's face it. As far as games such as shooters are concerned, yeah, you could even allow female characters in it. It's not particularly realistic, but whatever. You're still going to have a majority male player base because that's what men like. And women like different things from men. They don't like the same things that men do, and men don't like the same thing women do. I mean, they do exist, but it's very rare that I've encountered a hardcore female gamer. I mean, who forgets to fucking eat because she spent so much time in front of the computer. I know people like that, and they're all male. Although I knew one exception off the top of my head, and I've known dozens of these people. I'm not citing this as anecdotal evidence. I'm just saying you can also look at the numbers out there. Gaming can mean anything from playing around with your tablet for 20 minutes on some online game to loading Skyrim down with 200 mods and the works and playing half a day nonstop. So defining what a gamer is would probably be paramount. If people really want to make this argument, they need to define what a gamer is. And they also need to start becoming aware of the differences between men and women, because that's what got us fucked over with the whole issue with these issues related to society and all this other bullshit, the feminism, blah, blah, blah nonsense affecting university education and now middle school and high school education. And it's affecting the gaming world too, because people don't fucking try to understand what we are. That we're the human ape, that there's the human female ape, the human male ape, and that we're different. And as I said, one way of bridging this gap, one way of trying to create peace offerings, if you will, if there's no other way around it, if the politically correct assault will continue forever, then make the games moddable. That way people can create whatever they want within the context of the game. In the context of Skyrim, you get some pretty off-the-wall stuff, admittedly. In other games, less so. Minecraft would go a different route. But I'm pretty sure, I don't know very much about Minecraft, but if some girl Minecraft gamer wanted to create a Minecraft town of giant cocks, or a gay gamer floating out of the ether, then I'm sure she could do that, or he could do that, and nobody would really care very much. I mean, that's the power of modding. It could be a useful tool in the future. Notice, interestingly enough, how after Dragon Age Origins was made by BioWare and was highly moddable, you lost that ability, you lost that capacity. And now we have the straitjacket, in this case the PC straitjacket. It's their company, they can do what they want. But this whole issue, be it Zoe Quinn or Anita Sarkeesian, it's getting a lot worse. It's going to get a lot worse until we start grasping the fundamentals, which means going back to the basics, understanding human nature, male-female nature. Always go back to the basics, whether it's gaming, the work world, university education, secondary education, whatever it is. Men and women are different. Understand that, people. Once you begin to understand that, we might actually be able to come up with a solution. But as long as you deny human nature, pretend that men and women are the same, that we gravitate to the same things, that it's just one big smorgasbord of gender neutrality. You're going to keep on lying not only to yourselves, but to the world, and these problems will be recurrent and they will not stop, and it's going to get worse and worse and worse. Open your eyes, perk up your ears, more importantly, turn your brain on. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will talk to you guys later. Take care.